guys, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. I am back in the kitchen today doing some more mason jar meal prep. I am out of a lot of my side dishes, and one of the things that we like to do pretty frequently is cornbread. But we have a variation of just regular skillet cornbread where we like to make cornbread muffins, and I'm completely out of that mixture. We do it about 2 times a month, I would say, on average. And I like to prep up about 4 or 6 jar mixes of that at a time. I can get all the ingredients out at one time and then have side dishes on the shelf where I can just add some egg and water. I think I might use some butter too. But I wanted to bring you along and show you how to prep those mason jars of the dry mixes for cornbread muffins. And then at the end of this video, I will show you how to turn that jar into cornbread muffins. We'll bake them up together. Okay, let's get started. By the way, if you would like help building your food storage, scroll down to the description box of this video and click this link for our free 1-year food storage plan. We calculated a year's supply of food for one person, then broke that data down into a week-by-week list of items to build your pantry on a budget. We'll send it straight to your inbox. If you're new here, we invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss all of our upcoming food preservation, pantry storage, and gardening tutorials. Now back to the kitchen. Okay, let's get started. We're going to put the salt at the bottom of our jars. The reason for that is I do not know if this is 100% true, but I have heard that baking powder and salt stored, right next to each other over a long period of time could potentially cause issues with the activity of the baking powder. I don't know if that's true, but I have always prepped my jars and tried to keep those two ingredients separate. So just so you know that. So we need 1/4 teaspoon of salt per jar. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the bottom just so we can make sure. Don't really need my funnel yet, do I? Just so we can make sure to keep those two things separate. And to keep those two things separate, we're gonna go ahead and do the flour next. So we're gonna do 2/3 cup of flour. I have a 1/3 cup measuring cup, so I'll do 2 scoops per jar for a total of 2/3 cup. I've been trying to use the exact measure cups when I film these videos because I have accidentally caused so much confusion in the past by using like a 1 cup to measure half a cup, and I just fill it up halfway. And people are like, your measurements are so off. I'm like, they're really, I just eyeball things, but I'm trying to do better about that when I'm filming. So, 2/3 cup of flour per jar. Like I said, we do this about 2 times per month, so these 4 jars will give me about 2 months worth of meal prepping this particular side dish. Okay, let's go ahead and do our cornmeal. I like to use either fine or extra fine cornmeal. I buy it in bulk either on Amazon or Azure Standard. I can try to find it for you and link it in the description box below if you're interested. But we need, let's see, we need 1/2 cup of cornmeal per jar. Uh-oh, my 1/2 cup won't fit. Let me get my other 1/2 cup. This 1/2 cup measuring cup is more angled. It's got like an angle on it, and it fits down into your 1/2 gallon jars, whereas this round one doesn't. So anyway, if anyone's ever struggled with measuring out of a mason jar before, might want to get yourself an angled measuring cup. I can try to link some of those too. So 1/2 cup in each jar. I've been trying to remember the brand. So if I have a favorite brand, I think it's Great River Milling Company. Yes, I think it's Great River Milling Company. I hope they didn't go out of business. I haven't seen them advertised lately, but I used to love getting all of our grains from them. Flour, oats, cornmeal, just a really high quality company. If I can find them, if they're still in business, I'll link them below. Okay, so we have our 2/3 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of cornmeal, and let's go ahead and do our 3 tablespoons of sugar. Now, if I were not making this mix ahead of time, if I were just making it as I go, I would often use honey in this recipe as well. So that's an option, but obviously not when you're doing a dry mix like this. So 3 tablespoons of sugar. And 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and last but not least is our baking powder. We need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I use the Rumford brand because it doesn't have aluminum in it. So 1 tablespoon baking powder. Okay, and that is it. That's all of our dry ingredients. They fit nicely in a pint-sized jar. I'm going to vacuum seal one for you using my favorite method, but we do have a video that details all of the different methods to vacuum seal a mason jar, and I will link that down in the description box below. You need an accessory like this. And then I am using my favorite method, which is the brake bleeder pump. Yes, you heard that right. It is a mechanics tool. It's a mechanics tool, and it's a way to get a vacuum seal without electricity, without a machine. You just pump it, and it can get a good vacuum seal. So a lot of times when I am meal prepping jars like this, if you saw our recent video on meal prepping our cinnamon roll mixture or meal prepping our dinner roll mixture, I mentioned that I do not vacuum seal. See, now it's vacuum sealed. And anytime that I'm vacuum sealing, I do store with the ring on, unlike canning, where you store with the rings off. You do want to keep the ring on because the vacuum seal can potentially come out, you know, pop up in the pantry, and if you have the ring down, at least it still stays sealed. But anyway, what was I saying about vacuum sealing? A lot of times I don't vacuum seal my meal prep jars because I am working through them within 6 months. If I am working through something within 6 months and it is a dry good like flour, cornmeal, sugar, that kind of thing, I don't worry about vacuum sealing it. But I almost always vacuum seal whenever I'm using cornmeal like this or corn flour. I don't know what it is, but it seems like corn flour and cornmeal in particular has a really, it develops kind of an odd taste when it sits on the shelf and it's not airtight. I don't know if that's me. I don't know if y'all have experienced that as well, but I have experienced that, and so I just choose to vacuum seal pretty much anything with flour, cornmeal, or corn flour in it if it's going to be sitting on my shelf for more than a couple months. Okay, let's bake up one of these jars and show you what these corn muffins look like and show you what to add to them. Okay, let's make up these corn muffins, and I'm going to make up another jar to replace this one. But you just dump your jar in, and then you will need 1 egg. This looks, you know, it's already broken, but one of my kiddos accidentally dropped this when they were bringing it in from the coop this morning. People have different opinions on whether or not they can still use eggs that get prematurely cracked. Some people don't even want to go longer than a couple of hours. The way that I do it is I will put it in the fridge and I will use it that day or the next day if an egg accidentally gets cracked like this. But I've never, ever had an issue with an egg going bad that quickly. So 1 egg, and we need 1/3 cup of milk or water. Now if you, milk just adds a richer flavor, of course, than water because you're getting some of that fat in there. If you would rather forego the milk, you could do milk powder in your mixture, about 2 tablespoons of milk powder in your jar mix, and then just add 1/3 cup of water when you go to make your muffins. I just, you know, we always have milk on hand, so I just, you know, don't really worry about it. I have a lot of other recipes that I need to use milk powder in, and so I don't worry about it in this recipe, especially since this recipe, it really does taste good with just plain water, so it's just not absolutely needed. But the only other ingredient is 2 tablespoons of melted butter. If you have butter that stays at room temperature, you can just use room temperature butter. All of our butter is in stick form in the fridge. We don't ever have any at room temperature, so I just threw this on the stovetop real quick just to melt a little bit. But it's not completely melted by any means. You can see it's more in the softened state. But that's it. So 1 egg, 1/3 cup of milk or 1/3 cup of water, and 2 tablespoons of melted butter. At this point, this is one reason I love, love, love this side dish. Anytime that I can prep one side dish and get multiple flavors out of it to, prevent food fatigue from eating the same thing over and over again, I love recipes like that. And this is one of those because you can mix in anything at this stage. Get all of your liquid and dry ingredients combined and then mix in whatever you want. A lot of people really love jalapeno cheddar cornmeal muffins. I will often just do it plain, but we also love it with shredded cheese in there. But you can do chives. Chives is really good as well. You can do like a garlicky onion type flavor, just anything your imagination can come up with to mix into these muffins to give them a different taste while still all prepping the same base. Excellent. Okay, let's get these in some muffin tins real quick. Before I forget, this recipe makes approximately 6 muffins. So if you are a bigger family, you might want to double this recipe and store it in quart jars. But 6 muffin recipe is perfect for our family. We are a family of 5. My husband typically wants 2, which leaves the rest of us eating 1 for a total of 6. So it is the perfect, is that a double? Yes. Let me make sure I'm not doubling up on my liners. Okay. And you just fill them up like you normally would. This recipe is pretty much a replacement for the Jiffy corn mix in the store. I do think the Jiffy corn mix is a little more, I don't know, something about it just tastes better, but if you look at the ingredients list, it's not surprising. They always put stuff in there that's not exactly natural, but it sure does taste good. So it can be a little bit of an adjustment when you're making things homemade. Ultimately, it does taste better, but our taste buds in a lot of ways are trained to really enjoy those kind of synthetic additives that a lot of companies make, that a lot of companies put in their food. Okay, I'm not going to make y'all sit here and watch me do this, but I overfilled 2 of these muffin tins, and I'm going to scoop out just a little bit to where I can squeak out that 6th muffin real quick. Okay, here we go. I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and these need to cook for between 15 and 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 15 minutes, and I start watching them at that point to make sure that they don't burn at the top, but depending on how hot your oven cooks, you may need to go to 20 minutes. And we'll be back when they come out. Okay, here are our muffins. They only took about 15 minutes. Let me break one open for you and show you what it looks like on the inside. Of course, these are excellent with a slap of butter in the middle. What isn't? Here are our cornbread muffins. Like I said, these are so customizable with whatever kind of mix-ins that you would like to use. It's one of our very favorite quick and easy side dishes, made even easier by being prepped in a mason jar. Hope that was helpful to y'all, and we will see you next time. Bye!